Yeah, bo akwa ba bi obra adwere pa arapa dwumade so original TV so me de boama Dakon Isaac obetimi from a lawyer Odenyamfo Timothy Atabuade I want term ewe hanmo your former member of parliament for Bulsa North constituency and Janet Nabla and so yeah general secretary the People's National Convention PNC you heard Mr. Palgrave Boakye Dankwa government spokesperson on governance and security and so baba kan hona yes nkonya na yedi enkomo honorable mama kwaba as Jane mama kwaba happy flooding day
happy raining day
oh sorry you're raining crowd
no I'm only added happy raining day
happy raining day
and happy flooding day
where your national flooding day
yes and happy good morning and it's just the beginning because when you say June
okay
most of the heavy rains come here. Okay. In the north, the heavy rains comes in August, September. Well, we have to brace ourselves.
And the southern sector, June, July.
The heaviest rains in the north is August, September.
Okay.
Until say they happen on in the north for now. I make an open me fryer. It's not raining there, and if it rains, it's just drizzling and not in the heavy stance here.
Okay.
Internet so be Anna. A do say na aya for no we have to talk to our mothers and so on so that sometimes you force the children to go to school when it's even raining.
Okay.
And this is the time people take advantage and abuse children because once you see any turn out crana begina honmo wait me the car begina so okay. Well, and the children would like run into that because for me it is about time rain it brings security issues into foreplay.
I think it's a good point to raise. But you better delve a bit deeper. You better delve deeper into this. Into my mama answer Jane Sumram quickly on that.
But your mammy chair and I'm chef anape and cresse and dra since honomo our Domitaifa area no started around 10:30, 11.
Wow.
So that time I started here and a bedroom and a pay still Christian Village Junction. So we back from Domi crossing called Christian Village. Yeah, banana flooding or honomo na a flood. It is all kind about Uncolamo in there, dear. My catcher me basse man go school and that's all because I cannot vouch the protection of so into anyway and senior wolves even from Jowulu Duebia Ebua to Hono into traffic near Wahono easy cry into not move for and ambulance service for baby fire service for bibi because the traffic over there is just unbearable. Into rains way dear and the problems are Eddie Bannon and this is just the beginning. It's fearful.
Yeah, fire services so na the worker tell someone about fire service say your mom 100 Ghana cedis bosume say we fire tender kese no 100 cedis near the mom some fento fu ngum bosume every month inti you call on fire service for you mon call na mon konko ye man ye be kan fire service mon konko ye man no at the end of the day the omunisi come beto fu lo mbe den akọ
debut maminti ase we see an entire month.
Yes.
See ye wo fire service cars no duduomo like in so enye say ye back pe nti sa fire service cars no nyina every car be 100 cedis every car
station district be our back
district be our
car no back yeah
so
yet district be no 100 cedis near the mom say fa to fuel egukan.
Maybe we will have to delve into the issue. Yeah. Can I say yeah? Because how many vehicles and there were in the district? We see one. Yeah. And the whole district a month, 100 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
Say 1.5 petrol. So those are the
50-gallon a year diesel car.
And only inefficiencies creating confusion with Ghana animal.
It's from fire service for Monko, bets so many car. I'll be better for now. What would they do? Abaya insu abaya gidigidi insu to fire service for munko boy your friend is saying for munye say munfa ha munsen ha ne ho nkroba ne ade people will be trapped eduabebu agu your friend is say kwan mu fire service for will have to go so ba ko twetwedua no e de amaye ne ho nkroba ne ade but at the end of the day eno omunisika so how would they go
what is say fire service for omo kasa wa TV so say these are the challenges that we are facing. When we say omo yes adie no, they be with the position mu obi a or pese on protected position no. Juma no krampo enye ye osuro se o ka no kre na on beji na afri ho. Enu ni ye problem.
But marabi so ho no for services no, security services no. Omo wo emra emmo mo kwan mo me yes adie. There
be we a security issue. We crampo na ye the most security issue SSC obi ankasa say omo the vehicle be ma wo say emergency ba fa ye juma na there is no fuel in the vehicle
what kind of story no delve deeper or say car no kra say ya omo fire officers na gigi esika kakra no mo di car
omo gigi sika no from where something that is the corruption where the corruption comes in. Omu nye sa sika no free hen fa. Wankasa wonim se na ye katua tie. Ye kitiki e na wo nye sika no wo he a wo be ye.
So they end up begging.
So why would you beg?
Soliciting for funds from
your company. Onu a odi adwuma ne ma wo no adenti na wo nka kire nipa kro no say these are my challenges. We have to solve them. Else I can't do the work. Adenti na won teme nkasa. This a one wonfa wankasa wo sika na wonfa ye. And this is just the time that we are just hearing about it. I didn't know say problems So it's about
someone will have to investigate.
It's about the self-centeredness. Open position no on person on can no or can say maybe or can na on be in Africa. The self-centeredness and the greediness. And nunti na your problems our Ghana hanmo. Nti fire service for sisi omo ba outer and omo can see we will go into it. We will look for the minister that is in charge. When was the last time I review 100 Ghana cedis a year
for the 50-gallon diesel vehicle?
No,
fire tender.
This is unfair to the country, not to the country.
All right, Mama, Unyabema Palgrave so Akwaba, Palgrave Boakye Dankwa. Oh yeah, government spokesperson on governance and security. Security, there's a senior. Good morning.
Michelle, Minya Bema signed in chairman, Penifua, Omote Akuni. When we say Papa Dinichi or the minimum on our platforms. Okay. Madam was Happy FM. General Secretary, PNC, and Ameboa.
The strongest GS.
Hila Leman, powerful woman.
Yes.
And then, I mean, greetings to the viewers. Juma Pamo, yes, Monko Somboa Ganamai.
Yeah, that's it. Also, we've seen on terrorism and other issues, so your messages are out there. And educational demand, so your bets. But the other two one, I can see fire service. I am 100 Ghana cedis a month. So fuel fire tender. Now you can say you have bubu sisi kwan now you ball fire service say oh I'm on because in some more say you did bundu ye chainsaw e wo mo kan na chainsaw no kra say fuel you the fuel e the egu
yes
na man 100 cedis coupon say 100 cedis no e na fato fuel good tender.
Yo, minya bema, my shas here say in name bi wo ho no ma say ye tie na say yamfa ye ni antu ya ebia na ye misinform the public. Minjindi say Ghana National Fire Service buying budget or ye afibia ma security services no
say Ghana National Fire Service there 100 Ghana cedis na omunya a month for fuel.
Each district.
Regardless the district. I mean, I think say it will be one of the most absurd things to ever hear. Let's discredit it and discount it immediately.
Oh wow!
And then secondly,
what if you find out and that is the truth?
I will bring you the documents for you to see. Yes,
I
would bring you the budget that is given to Ghana National Fire Service. You see, I think say maybe at a later date, let's have a whole proper conversation
on fire service
because as a government spokesperson on governance and security, I work very closely with them.
Okay.
And I know Sika Omunya, and I also know the peculiar challenges. I mean, there are no challenges. I mean, admittedly, there are challenges, but really to zero down on fuel, say, buying Emma Fire Service district. Oh, come on, please. Let's elevate the conversation a little bit.
Okay, we should discredit this.
But really, also to put it in perspective, I'm saying, sure saying, but as a result of these floods, IAC, I am deeply concerned, especially because problem. I'm very deeply concerned, and I feel say successively, all governments. Abom Homodin really to be able to ensure say we keep our roads safe and our community safe of floods. But also from the architecture of the country, from 1876 on Noma Gold Coast by right up to independence time, the entire architecture in terms of development. Clearly, you can see say Ghana is an overpopulated country. I mean, if nobody has said it, I'm saying it on record. Ghana is an overpopulated country. And even on this continent, the continent of Africa is very overpopulated. UN4 at the database and statistics about beto say by the time Africa be do 2063, the entire continent will have the highest number of young people in the world, 1 billion people. Into Ushe, the architecture, Ghana 30.8 million people in the world, Ghana, Nigeria for almost 200 billion in the world. Clearly, you can see say the resources that are available in the country does not match up to the growing dependence of it. Now, also, as a country, ye pesi ye de mbra ye juma. Inkofo na ye pesi ye de mbra ye juma emomo no. Omo ankasa etumi gina ho kasa mbra we de yempe. Clearly, obi esidan in a place that you know very well ebi akwan and I say bibi e de be drainage. And then you sit there and say be aban person obebubu no obeka aban person say mejuma. I've made many out of floods. I've driven through floods. In fact, to be honest, this weekend I had a fatal accident because of floods. It's clearly floods is something it crosses all political boundary lines. But what must we do? We must be able to say we want to tackle it robustly. I feel there are some places we must break down the structures immediately. Those structures must be broken down. And also, compensation must be given to the people. Look at how Kaneshi can flood. And imagine the number of lives that can be lost. Senko 4 do not take care of themselves. Look at these vehicles that are driving through this. This is not the doing of one government. Which is Suban. Suban. Yes, it's Suban. I had to say, your character can never be hidden. And we has exposed all of us as Ghanaians. And it goes beyond political boundaries. Imagine, for example, assuming, without admitting, say today, President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and now say the Honorable Minister for Works and Housing, Asenso Boakye say, we are going to break down Kaneshi and reconstruct it, send a better floods will not continue. Imagine the political opposition that will come. Just think about it. Play the scenario and see how it will be like. Government is not sensitive. Buying drink Ghana for who? The continual measure of traditional systems is not going to help us. Einstein say, if you continually do things the same way and expect different results, it's the highest level of insanity. Really, I think let's tackle these issues robustly.
Okay.
We don't necessarily need a national dialogue on it, but we need to be able to decide, say, we don't want these floods consistently. Since so people throw things out of the vehicle. I have driven in this country. Me who say obi or kaka papa we did we are to actually, and oftentimes I've driven ahead of the person, stopped and told the person to go and pick it up.
That's great.
Clearly, because I mean, come on. I mean, what do we want to? How do we want to man this country? How do we want to govern this country? A community engagement, a citizen involvement. In many years ago in this country, there was a bin. In the bin. But what plantain chips. I mean, come on. If we start arresting, if the security services and I say NADMO start arresting, the same Ghanaian people will come back and say, why are you arresting? Okay. We have a lot of issues at our hand. But going forward, we can't keep playing the blame game. We must take responsibility into our hands and decide robustly and frontally. So we are tackling these issues. For me,
tackling this issue now, government is telling us through the sector minister, Asenso Boakye,
the fact
spending
money has been made available
in the past 5 years to fight the skanker, but it seems to be worsening.
It is worsening as a result of our continual independence and our continual indiscipline. The high level of the Ghanaian citizenry indiscipline. You haven't seen her. So I go Singapore. That many people obi otiri bia unko Singapore. That Singapore you don't need a visa. Free entry. Service can Singapore. Udu Singapore, you can't spit on the road. That's the truth. You can't spit on the road in Singapore. And it's not far away from here. You see, just about 8 to 9 hours you arrive. Offer flight, Emirates, from here to Addis, Ethiopia. From here to Dubai, Udu Middle East. From Dubai to Singapore, and I say Addis Ababa, and I say Egypt, Cairo. You can connect to be able to go. It's not far. You can't go to Singapore and spit. In this country, or far baby, then the person is just easing themselves or urinating or doing certain things. It's a high level of indiscipline. But I can understand and appreciate that the human species, it's a very difficult species to manage. But my brother, in the midst of the difficulty, say abide not the policies be too honor. Abide not the measures be too honor. Abide not so the interventions be too honor. It is for the common good of the Ghanaian people. Okay. Because abide really, the real goal and work of abide is to create that enabling environment. Abide created that enabling environment, and then private sector picks it up. Look at how Abide in terms of sanitation. Look at how in many years and consistently Zoom Lion has clearly given dustbins. But the person throws the thing outside.
And the funny aspect of it is who says Zoom Lion 1 million dustbins.
Yes. You see, so my brother, it's the entire mispriority of things. You see, and really, London, London, the bins, London bins, and every trade. You were plastics, now the plastics in Kwagum. You were now the bottles in Kwagum, and you are near the paper egum. Yeah. But Ghana, if we obey the people who pick the bin, fire him. It's because of the level of indiscipline. Into me, this issue, as we address it, let's not address it in a way of trying to say, it is our own level of indiscipline. Okay. But going forward, I think Abai, and I know very well with meetings I've been involved in, Abai is making constructive decisions and bringing leadership to it. It is Abai back, not the community be engaging, no can say. A dying way at the time of 1957, Ghana's population was not 30.8 million. At the time of 1957, we're a very small population. I mean, even the people who went to university, they told you, so there were one person in one room, they were having breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, university, you're not having breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Even reading rooms, even dining hall rooms have been turned into reading rooms. So clearly, you see, our population has grown beyond our infrastructure, which is why every time government in, government out, they come and they need to develop some more. But in the development, I will caution Ghanaians, so let's be very disciplined.
All right. Mama, now I say, Paragraph. I remember Auntie Janet. Auntie Janet.
The outcome is true. The level of indiscipline in this country is too much. almost a local government yeah almost permit to say sidan wahanamo. Most of the buildings are unauthorized. And authorizing crampo local authority people no omo training bia omo ba omo betima hu say aha men sidan waha because most of the dan omo see ya na see ya ye what problems our side areas no the local government has given permit to these people omo legal permit say omo sidan waha no omo si omo den sisia we are having flooding and other things drainage ewo hono na enkense se obi nsi ni dan wo hono mo. Meanwhile it was approved by the local government. Inti eya wo hwe we ya na wa bisa wo hu se the local government fuyi do they have enough training to be able to sit down or to be able to foresee that this place is not good for you to put your house over here. So do it like this or do it like that. Do they have the training to be able to do that? And baby almost authorizing if the local government is not doing their work. Problems are here, especially to housing almost building in unauthorized places. We can level all those allegations to the local government. And supervision is very, very low. Most of the times, we say omo workers so omo 1990, omo bape no bima omo bibia no maji na and then that is it. So as we are talking about the level of indiscipline and a level of not paying attention to your own work, baby, we jumano one fan serious. Like you don't care that as I say, me juma ye, say me juma ye, Ghana bekwenim. No, it's always about personal aggrandizement. Nipa mo, omo shisho mo, the obetimanye is what they are all looking for. In the local government for no dear. So almost see enka nekrea. As I say, most of the problems are here concerning houses being built in unauthorized places. As I say, young holder are more responsible. Also, bibi at times, obimube who say area way is not approved for you to put your house there. Omubeko put up unauthorized structures. Na government banner beka say omo you omo pe na hey the whole Ghana sorry she say ne omo kita nkolamo omo ni baby omo da government ababe push omo da nyina agu and away then they will politicize the thing. Most of the problems we have in Ghana is as a result of politics because obi o pese onye boni bia obeduane akọ political party oduane sa political party na oko committee offense na mbeka na sa political party no abanechi ababe boano nti mumenyi sa politics ni nyina mfiri ho oka about the drainage system. We have problems with drainage and nune baby a government say on focusing the attention on she say ne nso to ya nso no entimi nko. The water cannot go anywhere. The drainage system is very, very poor. And 50 million now, the honorable minister can you know. Omo di and kebetimanya like obetima like go into details. No catch say 450 million now. Ye helping in flooding areas. No, ye di to ha we call hanamo and a way call hanamo so that we can see the quantum like the magnitude of work that the 450 million was used for. Ye who said na ebetima boa, but we see government the 450 million into the he has put 450 million into flooding, but we don't know which sectors are and how beneficial are a boy okay baby say drainage system no and kebe we search and say but government odi 450 million ne buy and the drainage system has gone down. It has helped small. That's what he said in his speech. Also can say almost $200 million. Almost your money is $200 million US dollars are almost helping in flooding. That is very, 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 very good. But $200 million no say eba omo maye nyina hwe bebia ebetima this thing. They should call for a national dialogue. Instead say ebe MPP for there omo many Ghana for this thing. All those who are stakeholders of flooding and other things and organizations no omo nyina mbra na hwe say na ebetima ya sa 200 million no ye di ye disease wa ebetima aboa ama ye drainage system no so aquaform nti these are some of the problems and the bia ye beba ye beka nso we are not doing anything about it say na oka ye no nipa bebre mi ankasa mi danfofo obetina ka so ade bibia to atwene na me see it's not right. Create in your own mind a consensus listen say we the bibi beto atwene a ma bibi nka kire say don't do that. Me come market na me kita polythene bagger. I will hold it till I come home because it is not good for you to just be holding something and throw it away. And I will see work or school. Wa wo school I will behave say no. Obi a won go school. How do you expect the person to behave? Eya me call market na me hu a lot of refuge omaye na ma bisa omo say where's your refuge dump? Adenti na bibia mo beye bia mo dibeto ha. Omo say ye tua why? Sister, mpa chojai. Obi mbeka say madam ye tua why? De bia ombeba ha ba be disika e ba ne say omo wi a see we so ye omo djuma. So we always have it in our mind that this job is for somebody. So I will not help in also I won't try to do anything.
I'll say for the past 5 years, government has spent 450 million to invest in the expansion of drains, including digging deep and concrete lining, and that is to increase the drain capacity to carry more storm water.
Something Namika say, or see, and can ye sa almost 450 million na, almost the year drainage na, and can flood no. Ebeye
ebi abana nke nyina yewu
nti my enhwe say sa digging no mo ye no wahefa because you have to do it at some particular areas say you say wo ye ya na nso oni hobium a na ehu say
minim say governments a president kokate sword be on dredge masters I think just one group of companies am kokate sword be kaneshi e ho no side no is it Dakuman Junction is first light
for drainage
na omu eye omo ye ibia fa ekwan na se fa from ti won say omo ye dwuma bi e wo honom bet enam
from nti so yi to ye kaneshi etisen is it good is it okay nti so yen hwe say sa dwuma no yi na de omo ye no enko yi a workers na ye de two honom no yen hwe let's do investigation and find out omo ye sa dwuma no
omo ye the current kaneshi video no as we speak so to anura numre ho nyina tutu kwan no nyina tutu
so sa contractor no we are supposed to hold sa contractor no responsible most of the things are here can we Ghana any government
so that is it
any government
we ka bia nkoma e wo kaneshi ho no anura numre na ade achi a nsuo no toye no this is how kaneshi we video no kwa kira bu say kwan no there's a quota no ayiyi
enti sa contractor na oji sa contract no yen friend number like let's publicly naming and shaming eboa wo yen bisa ne say Mr. Contractor we na oji contract we na we see we drainage our hanmo ye 450 million most of the money you took it enti we ye dien yen bisa sa contractor ne say oh ye dien so instead of say we be can say president aye we minister we aye we the oji contract no yen fa ne face mbra because most people hide under the umbrella of politics or be hiding under the umbrella of the minister akoye bonia sisi a ombeka no mo see oh NPP government omo ni adwuma bia omo GHc 450 million say omo ye drainage system hwe se na ye drainage no enye enko yie sisi as contractor no ne doing the same so the as this journalists are your main purpose should be to look for the contractor.
Okay.
Mo friend nombra.
Any first year mine na yenso yenko ehwe na ehu na ye ba be ka kire. Ana ye be mo modi as say contractor na ye be hu no pa. Ma be no as Janet Nabla, General Secretary of the People's National Convention PNC. Arabo Atawadi.
Yes, me chair chef nyina then my brother Palgrave. Yes, please. Yes. I've been watching and
Fantini and I say,
and there's all one away.
And then Fantini.
But your friend Palgrave watching them.
Oh, okay. But the possibility of Safan tobacco fat watching them, so say no. It didn't move on my essay, but changing me the media call. I cry and make us for David a free year.
Yes.
Akoto.
I didn't. So the politicians. Papa, boy, young man, you all will know. He's lucky, he's blessed.
Yes.
Almost every part of the world.
Who comes there?
But I've been watching you and I've been admiring his submissions on national issues. But to say I'm our governance and security spokesperson, I hope that you still maintain your nationalistic advocate.
I've been at this role for a long time.
Because sometimes, the government position now, you are tempted to do things that would even go against your own principle and your conscience, because even the pressures and those monitoring and watching you become a stumbling block to you being nationalistic and patriotic in terms of issues. But I admire the way you espouse it. You see, may share from fire service issue now raised here. My brother, don't let us dismiss it. I've worked in the public service. Beyond that, sometimes the Minister of Finance will be releasing Sikano or on the budget, but to release it to the institutions comes in piecemeal. A bank crank. Into some budget for 100,000 for fuel, or they'll give them 20,000 and there's no money and so on. Into Penyinfona Scanabon, they are forced to rationalize and release just a bit to them. And when I read a story, I cannot say it's not credible. It's credible on grounds that they've mentioned people's name, mentioned an officer's name there. You understand? And we share. And when it comes to flooding, the national security should be on his toes, including NADMO, fire service, because fire can spring up at any point when there's flooding. And when that happens, there can be live wires and very dangerous items that can spark a whole disaster apart from the water. And you know, you might have the budget figures that would have said that maybe 1 million Ghana cedis for fuel for the fire service. But one question, release na eba mono. It's not enough to cover that. We've seen it, and that is the issue. And abe this sano, especially in an era where information given out, there's so much fear, there's so much apprehension. Among for person more information, even to the press, they said they don't want their faces and whatnot to be shown and so on, because of the fact that government is so hypersensitive. Edema information are ever against. If we are not intimate criticizing government, we don't come out with best policies for the country. Anytime the policy and the law it is when the law is operationalized, then you see the shortcomings of the law, and by people critiquing the policy, and then the policy will come out as finest. I am a cited example. My age was a shrug as an investigator for the past 10 years. You started a shrug working with the act. It was difficult to work with it, but with time and with suggestions from senior lawyers, from people who have done constitutional administration, so we perfected the way we are doing things and so on. Sure. And I cite one example, and one example I've cited is that, look, this free HSS program is a very good program. Now, at the frontier problems, women say, and the implementers, the headmaster, and managers of this program bring out their critique against the policy. What we are going through in terms of its implementation, lack of food, and lack of logistics, we would have resolved it and can resolve it in a long time. And came back and I'm for a call for a review of the program. When the former president called for his review, he said he will cancel it. It is because of the suppression of freedom of expression on issues of national politics that has brought us so far. Like my sister said, if indeed 450 million Ghana cedis has been spent on drainage, the impact will be felt. You don't want impact, You don't say that we have not seen reports, we have not seen the contractors working. Where in Ghana a contractor Juma, our 450 million on drains now when saw the equipment that cost set to on my or Juma. We'll call from here to Sakomana. Over some year the expansion of the road. You see the equipment is there. They are physically present doing the work. Yes, you Kroma Kobe, and even if it is 450 million, I think the amount is even less. It should be more. But that more, no, it should come with real tangible results that we see that this is what they are doing. We should see, people should appreciate that, oh, abayi baye, omo yegwata, omo se odo river no, omo drain. If people are working on the Dor River, it is clear, crystal clear. Even in the night, you see them working. But because of unnecessary and unbridled partisan politics into every facet of our life, you know, it has made we, the politicians and our followers, to be defensive of our politics rather than the defensive of the people. Because justice emanates from the people, and the will of the people must always be taken into consideration when we are doing public policies and so on. I agree with you, my brother, that look, say you will expand over regimes. And every government tried to arrest this monster. And I was going into history, I think even architects also predicted about these floods who drew the layout in Accra here. How come, like my sister is, how come that you were permit? You even said it, he also said, they built on waterways. They built with impunity, with arrogance. They built, and the same law now, yeah, they bet to me dino a true no say me build the waterway no, and yes, that same law no, but that same law no, almost could do say politician and say waterway. Even they even greet him and say, oh, the cause oh the Shinwan, and yet he's the one causing the problem. Now me ban up away, now me tea Adom FM. And a woman be free for us, come on, interested, I stay there, and there's a gas station, so through by one on the left, depending on which side of the road. I know say, Obia be sit down in the middle of a road. Oma kanka was sit down area and that passage. And a woman be says there's a gas station there. So our gas station exploded this year with the rains. Him find a man for baby and alpha. But when the fellow was building, they complain and complain and complain. Depending sit down area. How do you blame people apart from the institutions and the officers who have been employed to work there? And we see them. Yesterday, and I said, on social media, now you want a lands commission, all documents are spread all over. Yeah. How did it happen?
I'm going to say it's safe.
How did it happen? My brother, it's so noisy, it's irritating and mind-blowing. How did it happen? We should lands commission, I didn't shoot him. How? Then I was reading something this morning, they were saying that it wasn't rain, it was that, I think they were doing reconstruction also. So what? How do we treat public documents like that? How on earth? Lands have cost people's life in this country. Lands and land guards. People at the Lands Commission, dear normal, almost changing even dates at the weekend on holidays. If you cross-check critical about say date on their IOB, a holiday and a weekend. And we know the problem. How can it's so annoying? How can Land Commission will be there and people will breaking down embassies? What sort of impunity is this? My brother.
It's been investigated.
No. It shouldn't even start. Don't go there.
Why?
Don't start it. It's so annoying.
So they shouldn't have investigated that?
They don't even start it. Don't start it, my brother. Don't get on me. What should even happen at the first place? Lands Commission, look at the explanation they came. He's so big, he's almost naked. The woman standing, look at him coming down from there. That's a city. We know that natural and disasters, it may occur. Yeah. It can even occur when you are on a rock. It can occur wherever would you are. But I say, they bit my as human beings. Yeah, loans, yeah, taxes. We've given this government over 500 billion. Into if your pompis can do good public projects, the people will feel it.
Okay.
Into the Niamana Abana is self-inflicted.
All right.
We might do, and we might not be able to do all. But don't let us self-inflict ourselves on these things, because disaster now the ban a dozen among fools soon. People are look. Disasters here when you compare it to the hardship that in the people need to come out and do bad. They say they are stuck at home and so on. So the long-term negative impact on business, on government business, and on people's lives, it is so devastating. It is so sorrowful that we must tackle the issue irrespective of the government that is in power. Because the people we are dealing with, it is not animals.
Okay.
Palgrave, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so there was a release from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Just came in. 24th day of May 2022. And it's signed by the Minister, Honorable Samuel Abuchi-Napo, member, MP, and Minister. And my personal kind portion being a Yediko forest issues. So quick one on that. My kind point number 19. Following the submission of report of the Strategic Development Committee to Honorable Yunus Hussein. Okay, so let me take it from year 16. 15. The committee noted that although the land being granted to family exceeded the original 90 acres agreed in 2008, it was a fair compromise to make up for the loss of the prime areas of the Eco Park project. On 20th March 2013, the family again petitioned the then President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for the release of portions of the land, desirous of converting the forest reserve into an Eco Park, a concept which was conceived sometime in 2011. The then Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Yunus Hussein, constituted a strategic development committee chaired by the then Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Barbara Sewa Samoa, to develop a strategy and roadmap for executing the Eco Park project. The committee, as part of its work, considered the report of the 2011 Special Committee and agreed with all the recommendations of the committee. The committee also recommended that the request of the family should be expedited for the smooth takeoff of the Eco Park project. 19. Following the submission of the report of the Strategic Development Committee to Honorable Yunus Hussein, the Minister, on 20th August 2013, wrote to the President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for executive approval to implement the recommendations of the committee. 20. On 5th September 2013, former President John Dramani Mahama granted executive approval for the development of the Eco Park and the release of the land to the Owu family, in accordance with recommendations of the committee. On 12th September 2013, Honorable Yunus Hussein granted approval to the Forestry Commission to implement the recommendations on the release of the peripheral portions of the land, measuring 118.023 acres to the family, in accordance with the executive approval. 22. Despite the fact that the said Afaridate Committee recommended the release of an acreage of 118.023 on 30th September 2013, the Forestry Commission executed 3 leases in favor of the Owu family, totaling 148.411 acres. That's 148.411 acres. The lands granted in the 3 leases are 1. Lease 1, 69.453 acres. Lease 2, 50.09 acres. Lease 3, 28.898 acres. 23. From this time, the family, with the consent of the Forestry Commission, as the head leaser, granted portions of the 148.411 acres to private developers. On 20th September 2014, the Forestry Commission and the Owu family executed a deed of variation to the 2013 leases as a result of what was described as an omission of the root of title and the actual size of the demised land. By the said 2014 deed of variation, the Forestry Commission granted the Owu family another 50.09 acres, bringing the total acreage granted to the family to 198.501 acres of land. By a letter dated 4th April 2014, the then Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Alhaji Yunus Hussein MP, wrote to the Lands Commission to amend its records to reflect the grants made to the Owu family. So, This is just a part and person because a dozen a 10-page a year release in a Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources at the ABBA. So, as the Janet.
Ukaino, me say almost a committee was formed.
Yes.
And a committee, they agreed on 140 something acres.
But later, economy.
There be, and almost call president. President ne 144 acres. And approve ye. And almost this about Ministry of Forestry Commission. Ebane say the Forestry Commission. Almost say Forestry Commission the big can. Was it coming from the committee or was it coming from Forestry
114, I call 148.
140, and I call CCR 190. The eba, like the 50 acres of land I already can when I approve this, this order no. When I approve it, we read me who say a committee was formed. So committee no, and I can say 148. And na omudi call president in China. In the president who here or approve President Mahama or approve here based on the 148. And na omudi call Forestry Commission that they should start work. Then and na meeting say Forestry Commission and na almost
granted 50.09 acres account.
When a fast 50.9 acres in account. We read they are not telling us who added that 50.9.
The Forestry Commission. They are telling us Forestry Commission.
What power has Forestry Commission got to do that? Because a committee was formed. That committee, the powers were the committee was invested with powers to be able to make recommendations for the president. The committee made those observations, gave it to the president approved, and then asked them to execute. Then all of a sudden, Forestry Commission in their own power added 50.9 acres.
Yeah.
Who gave Forestry Commission that power to do that? See, what is so disheartening is that this Owo family, where are they coming from? It's true that I heard that from is it 18 something or
1921.
16
December 1921.
Yes, that are we sure that we never gave them anything?
They were
because
paid.
They said they were paid. So who brought this thing back? And how come that like no one heard about it? We omukoka obi anti ye wo media anti ye the omuti ye ne say omama omo land and na enunkwa na ebeti ye the mimi can say it's like some people in the ministry were working with them. It's like some people are pushing them to do it. How come that the thing was 90? They are demanding for 90 acres, and all of a sudden it jumped to 100. When it jumped to 148,
I do 300 and something.
And so it means that mpacho me permit chafa. Would ba me meji say na omudi ekonenima na we nso agi say. So the more people are taken, the more the demand increases. Because Usha Owo family now, this amount of land, they have never requested from this thing. They said, give us something. And giving us something has turned to this. It is a disaster. Look, almost a generational transfer hypothesis. Ghana, ye nisa adwino. Say, mami ye way, so that my generation I bebano, min kola and omun kola so that be almost benye bibi. We don't have that mindset when we are dealing with issues. And that is so disheartening. The type of politics and the type of governance ye Ghana is so disheartening. And away kurampo at times omuka no mu dini na adia two politicians so where I will be civil servants almost can be. But omubeka, so it's a Ghanaian thing. It means Ghanaians, we don't want to do something for free. That is the reason why we have institutional failures in our ministries. We be kwa ministry, akwa kachiro mo say monye we, no me see any pen, any paper. We di bibi ba na paper ni pen appear from nowhere as if omo ye magicians. Ombenye sa pen no ne paper no na sisi ade omo di aye omo djuma. Nti dia mimi kan say government lands this and let's go through the processes again because obimu wo bebia anytime sa family neba na sisi a miso me cut ni sisi a 360 or 66 hectares of this is too much me bano me who say deforestation around lands commissioner to where kura going to Jewulu. It was not good. And this thing, it ate in rainfall and other things. So now you want to give the lands to people to develop, and we don't have anything again for afforestation. Meanwhile, we see plant trees. What planted trees are we? You want to destroy the entire ecosystem. Yeah, so many years to develop as a result of selfishness. Nipa bakunkwa, benya more acres, more than even a whole community. Development, and you are taking it alone for yourself and your family. Everything that we do in the Presby hymnary, there is a song. Asembi aramekano adibi aramiye ese anka ese se mibisa se ebe ya Yesu fe yemmenka sa asem yemfa enuntu ya adwum.
Okay, so my member honorable Tawade, so the minority raised this issue, and we're thinking NDC time, John Dramani Mahama didn't give any portion to the family. But now the ministry is telling us, John Dramani Mahama, the time, more releasing portions to the family.
You see, wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter whose us are God.
Good.
And it doesn't matter whether John did it or John did not do it. The truth of the matter is that if John was killing human beings and you came, must you continue to kill human beings?
No.
If John was an armed robber and you came, must you continue the armed robbery to the highest degree? No. That is why if a government is hand over liabilities and assets to the government that will take over, and there are handing notes to that effect covering every dealings of government, be they in debt, deficit, or assets and then cash. Now, if John Dramani Mahama release some portions, I've seen contracts, government has stalled the contracts and begun to do forensic audits. They did forensic audit into the road contracts, into cocoa roads, and even audit where even say cost about $10 million, and so on. So the issue is that I vote we change government because we want them to do better. We don't change government for you to come and be standing on the bad deeds of the other government and use them as a yardstick to measure your good governance. We don't do that. In any case, say Basampua, because I remember the first when the MPP came to power was that we had done the National Development Planning Commission, had done a 40-year development plan for this country. Osafo said they were not going to implement that. And obviously they didn't implement it. I've seen government come and say they are cancelling debts. I've seen government come, they renegotiate debts. I've seen government come, they re-engineered some projects. We share this project at Pokwase.
Yeah.
What did the vice president say? He said that when we came, we didn't add a CD to it, but we added one tier to it. Are you with me? So for me, whether NDC did it or not, what did you do? Like she said, Ushe said the Lano, Abana, and with the Owu family, I don't know them much, and I don't know their history and so on. But in say colonial government in Lano, they compensated them, and I saw something saying that £4,000 at the time. At the time, £4,000 over 100 is millions of Ghana cedis. And it suited them. They saw that it was a deal worth collecting the 4,000 cedis at the time in the old family. Modern Ghana is in any case, there are other lands that government have taken over. Government, the owners of those properties, could beam back to government and asking government to compensate them, my brother. Government have taken over so many lands in this country, and they compensated them. Government have taken lands to build schools, to build hospitals, to build barracks, to build government projects for the people of this country. If those families begin to go back, no matter say, young compensate them because injustice have not been done. Do you know the confusion I bring now? It means every project, a government project, would likely be taken over by the families, and rightly so. One was into the excuse that a former president that this government described in copious terms as incompetent. You know, aya the number be implementing the incompetence of another government, hook, line, and sinker, without variation, even if you varied it at the detriment of the people of this country. You see, we must hold in trust assets this country have left for generation yet unborn. We share Achimota Forest now. It is serving not just the old family or the few people who are building home, but over the 5 million people in Accra here, because I yet to say a reservoir to capture particles and carbon dioxide and other gases. They come there and they are stuck there. So it's like a net for good health. And yes, sample, look at the Ramsey lands. The Ramsey lands are watching what I am there. These are wetlands are protected by the UN. No small fellow than the chief executive, according to the Will Nayesheno, who even said, our kind of video, say, my cheese, no more far Ramsey lines and man for GB.
There is another release from the ministry.
Yes. And sometimes I have greed and selfishness to acquire things for our unborn generation.
Okay.
Is the cause of all these things. We should near money about within the world, including the 5 acres of land, we convertize more than 25 plots, about 30 plots or so for one fellow. And we don't know the rest that are involved. If you were, when our idea their mouth say, when you're a watchman, there's a watchman who say we are idea now. Why don't you watchman?
Maybe are not on legitimately.
There be, you see,
because the release I read.
You see, there are some things that you can't buy them. It's not about legitimacy.
It says, government release portions of
even the release, no.
Family no so private developers.
Tio. Even we should not even touch it. When we said almost release the periphery of the forest reserve.
Yeah.
Do you know, releasing the periphery of the forest reserve to would-be biased and interested parties, what it means is that it's a gateway to deforesting the whole thing. It's like a conduit to enter into the main forest. You know? Because you are going to bring concrete there. There's going to be a concrete jungle. Into by and large, you know, say periphery in you know, obesha no more penny call, now we so penny bar, now we so penny bar, no much crack, so finally it will vanish.
All right, so this is
you see, it's a bad issue for the government. They should come clean on the subject. And you know what we're reading, I think that it has been hastily put out there. Okay. I don't really see. You see, Nema back in terms of national, they should take time and do proper investigation.
According to Minister, I was saying from a year 1921,
yes,
and all archives, and all from 1921, Eba at Water Forest, and who and some, I just read that portion, just for us.
Yeah, I think that even with the space, we call archives. Now we could use documentation on any subject, be even well known. Then you contextualize them in the modern circumstances. Because even if Shampona archives, you know, it will have told you that it's not all the forest that is there.
Yeah.
It has been encroached on by, I think, Jimpa and other institutions and so on for public interest. One was periphery numpo na omiyeda. And come yimpo ADSC, for instance, a hospital or something for the people. You know that by that they will block. We should University of Ghana lands now. University of Ghana. Because of encroachment, the University of Ghana the lands be private developers. So they then serve as blockade to enter into the University of Ghana lands, into institutions and so on. Into, you know, to give it to an individual who is not an institution, there's a tendency to abuse.
All right.
And abuse is heavy
than what
we have seen.
Paragraph. So, paragraph before, maybe also, another release, and Asenso ministry no aba latest. I'll say Achimota Forest, Achimota Forest, Kwajo Owusu 3 years alleged last will and testament. The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources refers to its press statement dated 22nd May 2022, in which the ministry committed to inquire into the allegations relating to the acquisition of parcels of land at Achimota Forest and the Sakumono Ramza sites by the late former Chief Executive Officer, CEO of the Forestry Commission, Kwado Owusu Afriye, Sir John. Preliminary inquiries revealed that the alleged will in question is a subject matter of litigation or contestation in the courts. Further checks at the Lands and Forestry Commissions, the repositories of the records of the lands in question show no record of ownership of lands at the Achimota Forest or the Sakumono Ramsar site by the late Kwadwo Wusu every year. But maybe what can have more say for the avoidance of doubt, the bequeathing of the aforesaid lands, if established, will not pass any interest or title to the named beneficiaries in the alleged will. These lands, the subject matter of the alleged will, shall remain public lands, whether or not it falls within the degazetted lands pursuant to EI 144. Paragraph.
It's a paragraph I call one kind. That's how we read press release. It is to me. That said, given the totality of the circumstances of the said allegations, I, as Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, have directed the Lands and Forestry Commissions to deem any ownership of lands, both in the Achimota Forest and the Sakumono Ramsar site, by the late Kwadwo Wusu Afriye as void, and are to take the appropriate actions accordingly. Government will act on any improper acquisition of public lands, regardless of how it was procured, whether now or in the past. And the Achimota Forest lands will not be an exception. Signed, Honorable Samuel Bujinapo. I think, sir, this press release really puts the matter to a close, to an extent. But let's situate the conversations very well.
That is left to us to believe.
Unim, as a result of government's action towards RTI, information it can come to the public domain. But really, in the very ancient of days in Ghana's growth, will be a private document.
Yeah.
And Ubia Bonabrabo, Waye Jumaden, Wenyani Sika, Attorney Japade, Jebia Mani Wafasenum, I say Jebia Mani Banum. My kind will know. I think, say, let's be very careful in bringing government in it. Because Sir John Miankasa minim no London, Waye Jumapa, a lawyer, very astute person, not in defense of anything in the world. You know, any private hard work in Waye. But the entire Babe concern, I say government must give a response. It's as a level of all these mistrust and information are quite around. And it's I'm Honorable Samuel Abujinapo at the press release here. But in situating it from 1921, 16th of December, and even from the then Gold Coast 1876, all family as I say are buying to be able to have the Achimota Forest Reserve. Many of say Assassini Dino a Achimota Forest Reserve from 1921 right up to 1927, signed by 1937. During President Kufuor's time, all family buy some per compensation. During President John Dramani Mahama time, they came again, some per compensation. During President Danko Kufuor time, they have come again, some per compensation. Rightly so. Esan say oba beje asase fi busuan ho na say opese odeye dwumadie bi, and as a result of development, there's been a necessity say you have other parts of the land being given to the state to do other things. Then you do that. Into other parts now has been given to the Owu family peripheral parts, for their own personal development. They have a right to be able to sell it. But I have extreme confidence in the government of President Danko Akufo-Addo, and also in the leadership of the Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Clearly, say, if these lands, as is stated, is really one that belongs to the state, the persons that have been stated in the will not have the lands. And I feel say we should leave the matter to rest and allow the investigations to go on and come back again.
I talk to Minister Mbeka say hono say a owu family na ton ma say Jonah. Na Minister Naka say oh because of this will
you see in the matter of public interest and in Mpensempensenmu there there are always avenues to go around the law. And the law itself is subject to the interpretation of the Supreme Court anyway.
Sure.
But clearly, yes, na say autonomy privately from Owu family, and then it's become an interest of the nation. The minister wa honkwan. Emra ebitumi ma no honkwan. Emma Oji. Yes.
Without compensating him.
Oh, bet to be a compensation. The compensation is not.
Yes, we do fake currency control here.
No. The compensation is not much of a difficulty. So the compensation is not much of a difficulty. But once it becomes a matter of interest to the country, the minister has a right. But really, no, not to go ahead of the investigations. Let's allow the investigations to go on. Let's wait. I've seen that. Nipa bebre ni abotre, but Ghana particularly yeni abotre. Asenso Boakye immediately ye per response. Yenye ni sa. Asenso ye per investigations, you know, it must be done immediately. This is something we are talking about from the 1800s. If Obi Oshe should understand, from the 1800s, yaba 1900, yaba 21st century, this is almost 200 years old issue near the Hong Kong. It's clearly no, if investigations are going to be done, it's not going to be done in a 24-hour moment. Let's allow processes to go through. Let's allow the system to go through. Let's continually have confidence in the system. And then the government will come back again as an accountable government to account to the good people of this country. Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso, do you know when he was killed? In the 80s. It was just in recent times that the investigation, somewhere that they have found the people that orchestrated those acts. It's really, for me, as an academic, I think systems work, and let's allow those systems to work. And I think this statement from the minister, and I tell you, look, the minister was a former deputy chief of staff. He's not a substantive minister for lands and natural. I have extreme confidence in his leadership, a lawyer in good standing. He would be able to bring the matter to bear. Let's allow it to rest. Then move on to other substantive issues like national security.
All right. Just 8 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go.
National security, just in the next 5 minutes at 10 o'clock, the Vice President of the land, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bamia, your launch campaign, be a friend, see something, say something. Your friend, National Security Citizen Education Campaign. An entire holistic campaign for the country. In this country, the national security architecture is very robust, and the Ministry of National Security Counter-Terrorism Unit, they have 4 key indicators. The first is to be able to prevent any act of terrorism from happening. And in prevention, you need to educate very more to make sure so be after prevention, you need to also preempt. In security machinations, you need to be able to preempt the minds of Obia or person attack on your dream. We can get into the minds of that. The fourth one is to be able to protect. You have a right to be able to protect the citizenry and make sure that they are safe. And then the final one is to respond. From 1992, when there was a civil unrest in Algeria, Papa will know, Mama will know. It was from 1992 to 2002. Those 10 years period, that civil unrest gave birth to Africa's most worst terrorism in this world. Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, ISIS, all of that, between that period, they were born. And as a result of that, they have seen, their insurgencies is growing, and gradually they are getting into the Gulf of Guinea. The Gulf of Guinea, piracy, all of those armed nations, government has protected all those places, and it's become a collective effort. From 2018, the President, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as ECOWAS chair in leadership, decided to set up something called the Accra Initiative. The Accra Initiative was set up to be able to make sure, they gather intelligence. Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, Ivory Coast, gather intelligence and share intelligence within the sub-region. In doing so, every single intelligence here, PKBR, we're able to prepare ourselves to know how we can respond to the issues. It has become very important at this stage to raise up the security awareness and begin massive security campaign say all our neighboring countries have been picked up. Togo has been bombed about a week or 2 or 3 ago. 10 people died. They tried the first attempt in the northern part of Togo. It failed. The president of Togo was there. He went to the northern part. Then they tried again. They killed 10 people. And then Burkina Faso, 70% of Burkina Faso terrorism land is in the hands of terrorism. Ivory Coast is almost gone. Into clearly, Benin is gone. Ghana has become a beacon. For what reason? Natural resources, gold, bauxite, iron, oil. They look into these areas to make sure that they come in. Into Kraboa, they told them say it's in partnership with the Ministry of Information. The Honorable Minister for Information himself is going to be there. The Honorable Kojo Ponkroma, the Minister for National Security is going to be there. Kendapai is going to be there. The Vice President is going to be there. We're going to launch it, and it's an entire campaign. From there, we are going to the local level. The ISD is going to go to the local level. District executives are going to talk about it, and we put on a number 999. So who's will be up parking a car? It's your 30 minutes. Oh, she will be at 90 area, be 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or call up and down, or be the bag, a bit on baller for bufa baller. Or bet you know, as a baller, no friend. You need to be able to sound an alert. When we say something untoward is happening within your environment, when you are in the environment, there are things who consistently say, but people who say unorthodox, you need to be able to respond to 999. Oh, friend 999, you don't need to even identify yourself. And also, what friend Laboni, who will be able to park in a car over 30 minutes. Car number near say a DV crapper, a DVC, and really. The architecture is very strong such that the quota that the security services are holding, every time there are conversations going on in the radio, you're picking up signals and we know what we do to do. In terms of prank calls, anybody obey your prank calls in the will be able to know say this is a prank call. It will not augur to the interest
I think
of our
after
cause.
the lunch, we'll do a one-on-one on that.
Absolutely, Midas.
Yeah, so fast why you so agenda so after this we'll do a one-on-one on that. Honorable, yes, sorry. So let's do some 30 seconds and go.
Yeah, 30 seconds, yeah. But only to tell my brother that a comment now about Sir John says he's an astute lawyer, blah, blah. If you see the issue about the world, Obi and Khan about whatever property, people were concerned about the properties that were entrusted in his hands. When we say, or non-kasa or watchman Fabino. That is what we talk about. But what he has acquired as a politician and what the people are not much interested. You get it? Right. So I think that is the difference. But like you have said, all of us, there's always some greed and selfishness on all of us our part to be able to develop and put something behind for your children and so on. So for me, that's not the issue. The issue is when you use entrusted power, you see, inappropriately, then that becomes
an issue. All right, that's it. Auntie Janet,
so our family, during this in President John Mahama's era, they got something.
Yes, that was one that gave them the.
We are going to put a stop to it. The 366 acres. Ghanaians should not agree. It is enough. They've gotten enough, and if they don't stop, Ghanaians will have to do vigilante campaign against them by sending them to court for trying to do what? For trying to, like, how do I even call it? For trying to steal from Ghana. We will do that. So please, the 366 hectares is going nowhere. We will not agree.
In security, we call something ethical hacking. So this, Janet Nabla Eka, as we will not condone this stealing. Because a legitimate stealing. Okay, so General Nabla, General Secretary PNC, Palgrave Wachidankwa, government spokesperson on security and governance, and former member of parliament for Busan, Honorable Timothy Atabuaze, I wouldn't